Hello, Amy Elizabeth, somatic and intuitive healer here. And today, Mercury is going to trine, Mercury in Virgo is going to trine Uranus in Taurus. And as Uranus is right next door to the North Node, this is still in this energy of the Uranus North Node conjunction. And well, last week Venus trined the South Node, giving us this release valve for our emotional and opening up a door to see the ways that we get in the way of our self-worth. Mercury feels to be really on theme for me this week with bringing in the messages. And Uranus is about this revolutionary genius. It's about how we're going to move forward. And if the energy right now is feeling like big movement forward and reel it back, there's a reason for that. Uranus is in a lower degree than Saturn is. And just like we went through the Saturn-Uranus squares through all of 2021, where we hit Saturn before we hit Uranus, so there would be a stop and then an expansion and a stop and then an expansion. This year we're doing it a little different, especially the end of the year as we move closer and closer towards November 8th, where Saturn and Uranus are going to get as close as they're going to get to a fourth square. They're going to be back in that energy of the old versus the new. And it's okay. We're already in a revolution. It is now about whether we're willing to accept it and change. And so Mercury in Virgo is coming in he's in curator mode. He is in Virgo organization. Let's alphabetize and card catalog this stuff and get it set up. Because as with divine messaging, it comes when it's ready and it comes in pieces. And Mercury as the messenger of the god is right now in this expansive space to bring in messages from Uranus about how do we revolutionize our lives. What is working and what is not working? What is essential and what is just kind of extra? Or what do we maybe think is essential that it's time to let go of because it's not serving? And doing this work requires a huge amount of discernment. It requires the ability to recognize that we're on a three-dimensional plane here. And when we have ecstatic experiences through shamanic journeys, through meditation, through ecstatic dance and movement, there's a lot of ways we can get to that place of finding a level of ecstatic experience where we are in touch with the oneness. That's fourth dimension. And when we get to fifth dimension, we're there. The ego is like, feed yourself good, exercise, drink a lot of water. But we're in consistent communion with our highest divine self. And we're moving from that place where we really recognize what we do, how it has this butterfly effect. And so Mercury is calling in those messages and curating. So I'm really curious. I would love to hear what messages have you been receiving during this time? And maybe they don't make any sense. They could be one word. They could be an animal showing up. They could be somebody from your past showing up. They could be showing up in dreams. And just allowing the space for the unfoldment. Because like I said, Mercury is curating information, meaning he doesn't have all of the information. Uranus, meanwhile, is hanging out with the North Node. And so Uranus is, when Uranus was first discovered, he was seen as this big destructive force, the end of all things, the apocalypse. But apocalypse just is a great revealing. And that's what we're in right now. We are in a great revealing. We're getting to see and have the shadow aspects dredged up so we can make a conscious decision to do something about them rather than continue to disregard them. And the North Node is considered this destiny point. As a certified archetypal consultant, the work I do with sacred contracts and charts of origin help me to work with people in finding what their chart of origin is, and then taking them on journeys of transformation or walking them through what's called the fate to destiny process, which we are all always working on. So just get real curious, open up your ears, open up your eyes, watch for the messages, listen for the messages. Know that per divine messaging, they're going to come in parts and pieces. So have your journal out, have your trusted person that you chat with. If you have interest in casting your chart of origin and learning more about that process, look in the comments or reach out to me and let's have a discovery session and talk. If you're ready to know how all of these big transits are affecting you personally and you want to have a chart reading, reach out. There's a number of ways to do that. We can have a one-on-one chart reading. If you are a female identifying human, you can join my women's circle and we deep dive into your chart from different angles once a month. It is a great way to explore your chart. My favorite thing is hearing people say, well, I know my chart really well. Great, you know your chart really well. And if you think your chart is a static thing, then there is so much more to do. So be paying attention to the messages. Mercury is gathering them up. He is alphabetizing them. Uranus and the North Node are saying, here is your destiny. Here are the ways you need to evolve. Here are the ways you need to move through a revolution to get there. So there's this invitation happening. And I just want to invite you all in to that. So I love hearing from you. Leave your questions, your comments, your dedications, or your requests for what you want to hear about below. And I will talk to you soon.